My name is Judy Kepher Gona from Sustainable Travel and Tourism Africa. I am a sustainable tourism consultant. I would like to comment on the draft tourism policy for Nairobi County, and my comments are going to be very broad based. I want to start by saying that a tourism policy should not be designed as a standalone revenue generation stream for a county. A tourism policy must be woven into the bigger development aspirations of the city. We all know that Sustainable Development Goal number 11 talks about making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. The SDGs are therefore a global benchmark for any development agenda. So when we're developing a tourism policy today, we cannot ignore that there is a global framework for development. This global framework has certain defined principles, and more so, it has 17 agendas or goals that can be used in anchoring a tourism policy. For example, if we have a goal to achieve a smart mobility, how does the tourism policy support this? If we have a goal towards a climate resilient and responsible city, our tourism policy must highlight how the sector will make a contribution towards a climate resilient city. The agenda for sustainability is anchored, as we all know, on three pillars, which is environment, economy, and the society. Each one of these must come out very clearly, right, as the basis and the framework on which our policies in this time and age should be developed. We must move away from clone tourism, where we are trying to compete at all costs. We are all profit driven. We are all looking at standardized offers. If we find that a city has got entertainment places somewhere in Asia and Europe, we try to replicate that in our cities in Africa, whereas we are not even able to provide water to the residents. Now, before we are a city, before Nairobi City is a tourism destination, it must be a livable city for those who are there. If we increase opportunities for tourism when we cannot provide water to the people of Nairobi today, then we are building an industry on the wrong premise. We are building an industry not for wealth creation for the people. We are building an industry for people who want to come and have a fun or have a holiday in Nairobi without caring for the people who are in that place. So I'm looking at a tourism policy that must start by caring for its people, must start by caring for its environment, and then we can use tourism to create wealth. We are not using tourism to invite people to our cities. We are using tourism to help us to create wealth. This policy, therefore, must be aligned in this way. Another thing that I find significant for a city like Nairobi and any other city in the world, and aligned to SDG number 11, is that we must look at how are we going to protect our green spaces in the city? How are we going to use them responsibly? Right? We have Nairobi City is blessed to have so many green spaces around it. Whether we're talking about the park, whether we're talking about the Ololua Forest, the Ngong Forest, the Karura Forest, we're talking about the green spaces within the city, like the Uhuru Park. We're talking about privately conserved spaces around Nairobi. When we map these spaces for development, first and foremost, we are creating opportunities for our own people, the people of Nairobi, to experience their cities. This is the most responsible and sustainable form of tourism, because these people, the cost of these people experiencing their cities, the natural cost to it, the often hidden natural impact of tourism is minimized when we develop tourism in our green spaces for our people. We are also trying to avoid, I've just spoken about clone tourism, where we are competing at all costs. We're just trying to do what everyone else is doing so that we can make money out of tourism. We are thinking of mass markets. The more people we get, the more money. We are thinking of high volume business model that treats a tourism as a user and as a king, as a user. We are creating things for tourism for the tourists to come and use. Today, in the sustainable development world, our tourists should not be users, they should be contributors to what we have created. We create something that we are proud of, and we invite other people to help us to preserve it so they become contributors and not just consumers of what we have. Gone are the days where we are designing tourism for things to be consumed by other people, to come and use what we have created for them and consume it, yeah, without the regard to the people who live in those cities. We know that pre-COVID, there was over tourism in some of the big cities of the world, like Barcelona, like Amsterdam, and residents were actually protesting and saying, "Tourists, go away." You know, what you call your entertainment and your whatever in our cities is our daily misery. We can't find spaces to walk in. You have occupied every space. This is what we mean by high volume business models, mass markets, yeah, clone tourism that just wants to produce more spaces for more things for tourists to use. We must define our own tourism niche as a people in Nairobi County. We don't have to be like any other city, right? We must build resilience, a resilient, locally driven market before we go out there, so that we create stewardship locally for the places that we have, so that we can have a pride of people who will protect our cultural and natural spaces. Then we build resilience and we can invite other people to come and share it with us. But we are the first stewards of what we have. What is it that Nairobi has that he wants to protect? He wants Nairobians to steward, and then we are so proud of it that we are happy to share it with the rest of the world, and they are coming, helps us, contributes to us protecting these spaces. When we do tourism like this, then we are driving the well-being of the local communities and the people in the city of Nairobi. We want to develop tourism that is value-based, that is unique to ourselves, right? Yep, that enables us as the residents of Nairobi to first and foremost participate in it. Yeah, contribute towards it, consume it before we can share it. A value-based tourism policy is significant in doing this, right? We also want to look at our governance models of tourism. We don't want to centralize governance models where decisions are all made at one place. We want people's participation. We want to develop a strong ecosystem of tourism that is inclusive, that makes the value chain of tourism inclusive, that we have voices at different places, that if we want to develop tourism in a particular place, we ask those people in that part of Nairobi whether that will add value and what they think about that particular development. We want dialogue and participation of everyone in the development of this city. We don't want to develop things and 15, 20 years down the line, we are all carrying placards and saying tourists go away. So if Nairobi has not had a tourism policy for the last 10 years, it's a shame, because we consider ourselves a hub in Africa and we do not have a tourism policy. And every day we see new hotels, international ones, and places opening up that are geared or designed for tourism consumption. And we begin to ask ourselves, how will we deal with those that are already developed? How will we align them, right? What are these values that we are looking at? We are not creating tourism to get more revenue for the county. We are creating a tourism policy, like I said at the beginning, that will result in redistribution of wealth, that will result in a resilient and local driven market, that will give us a value based offer, not clone tourism, and a system of governance that is strong enough to allow different voices and diversification of the product that we want for the county of Nairobi. This will be my contribution, and I think that without that strong defining, a strong foundation and principles, and clearly saying what it means for us, it's not enough to list a number of things as the principles, and they are not woven in every recommendation that we are talking about in this policy. Otherwise, we have another document that is either a technical exercise, and we put it together and put it on the shelves, and we go on collecting licenses from those who have already developed tourism. I wish all the discussants good morning and all the participants as they contribute to this discussion. Thank you.